On November 18, 1976, in the small town of Maple Creek, Ohio, Katie Sullivan, a 19-year-old college student, vanished after leaving her shift at Benny's Diner around 9:30 p.m. She was supposed to meet her roommate at their dorm, but she never arrived. 3 days later, a group of hunters made a gruesome discovery in Ravens Hollow, a dense wooded area on the outskirts of town. Katie's body was found partially covered in leaves, her clothes disheveled, and her shoes and necklace missing. The cause of death: strangulation. The positioning of her body suggested a staged crime scene, leading investigators to suspect the killer wanted to send a message or cover their tracks. But with no fingerprints, no eyewitnesses with a clear description, and DNA testing decades away, the case quickly went cold. Local authorities launched a full-scale investigation, interviewing friends, family, and co-workers. The ex-boyfriend, Ryan Parker, who had recently broken up with Katie. However, he had an airtight alibi. He was out of town visiting family the night she disappeared. The co-worker, a fellow waiter who had reportedly been interested in Katie, but had no record of violence and no connection to Ravens Hollow. A local drifter, a man known to loiter near the diner, but he had left town shortly after the murder. No evidence linked him to the crime. Police also canvassed the area, looking for witnesses. A few recalled seeing a brown sedan parked near the diner, with a man talking to Katie. But in an era before surveillance cameras and advanced forensic science, the case stalled. By 1978, with no new leads, the case was shelved. Katie's murder remained one of Maple Creek's darkest unsolved crimes. In 2024, nearly 48 years later, Detective Rachel Lawson, assigned to the Ohio Cold Case Unit, decided to revisit Katie's file. Thanks to advancements in DNA technology, forensic teams re-examined a single strand of hair found in Katie's clenched fist, evidence that had been too degraded for analysis in the 70s. This time, using genetic genealogy, they identified a familial match. Daniel Reeves, now 71 years old, was a retired high school principal. He had lived in Maple Creek his entire life, attending church events, local charity fundraisers, and even volunteering in past missing person searches. His name had never appeared in the original investigation. To many, he was a pillar of the community, but now science pointed directly at him. Detectives confronted Reeves at his home. When asked if he knew Katie, he denied any connection. But as detectives pressed him, his demeanor shifted. His hands trembled, and his voice wavered. A deeper dive into his past uncovered a pattern of disturbing behavior. In 1973, a female student at a nearby high school accused Reeves of making inappropriate advances. No formal charges were filed. In 1980, he abruptly transferred schools under unclear circumstances. Detectives also uncovered an old storage unit rental in his name. Upon searching it, they found a locked box containing a silver locket, the very necklace Katie had been wearing the night she disappeared. Faced with irrefutable evidence, Reeves broke down and confessed. Reeves admitted that on the night of November 18, 1976, he had offered Katie a ride home after her shift. When she refused his advances, he drove her to Ravens Hollow instead. In a fit of rage, he strangled her, staged the scene to look like a robbery, and kept her necklace as a twisted souvenir. For nearly 5 decades, he had believed he had gotten away with it. Reeves was charged with first-degree murder. The trial drew massive attention, with former students, colleagues, and townspeople filling the courtroom, struggling to reconcile the man they once respected with the cold-blooded killer now exposed. The jury found him guilty, sentencing him to life in prison without parole. For Katie's surviving relatives, justice had taken decades, but it had finally arrived. Detective Lawson reflected on the case as she closed the final report. It took 48 years, but science never forgets, and neither does justice. And in Maple Creek, the legend of Ravens Hollow was no longer just a ghost story. It was a case finally solved. For more true crime stories, subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to hit the like button and the notification bell to stay updated on our latest releases.